Hi everybody, welcome. My name is Christian and I'm here with my friend Jorge. And the reason I'm shooting this video is because I'm living in Miami now, coming from Costa Rica. A lot of my friends are like asking me what I'm doing and like why I'm in Miami, like how am I living here, how am I being able to afford like living in a place like this. So the reason I wanted to make this video was just to, more or less for these people. I know most of them are not going to watch it, but I thought it was an interesting topic of conversation. And my friend Jorge over here is a really successful internet entrepreneur. He does affiliate marketing specifically. So I wanted to speak with him about actual ways you can get started in business, like actual ways you can start making, doubling your income, tripling your income, or just making an extra couple $1,000s a month if you wanted to, and not talk about, all these other like online coaches who talk about hustle and hard work. I mean, that's all good, but I really want to talk about actual specific ways and real ways you can start generating more money. And so Jorge, introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about you. We live together here, so we're kind of roommates, so I thought you'd be a great person to talk about this.
All right, thank you. Yeah, my name is Jorge Mateo, and I've been doing internet marketing for a year and a half now. Mm-hmm. So it's been a crazy journey because I've never done any sort of internet marketing before, never. I went from working as a busboy, going to nursing school, to this whole making money online. So just thinking back, I think it's super, super crazy that I'm able to do that and just able to network with a lot of people. I think that's something that's really, really important is networking,
100%. Yeah.
And something that I always tell a lot of people is just, get yourself out there, man. Just, try to find as many contacts as you can, because you never know, that one person may change your life,
Yeah, for sure. Well, actually, the only reason I'm here is because I met some guy, Solomon, you know who you are. I met this guy surfing, and then he introduced me to the owner of this company that I worked for a while. And then I met a lot of my business partners and mentors through that, and that was amazing. And the only reason I met him really was because I talked to him while surfing, he was just in the water, really cool guy. And so every time I try to explain to my friends ways they can start getting into business and stuff, it's contacts. And online they speak a lot about mentors, right? And it's important, but just making friends with people who are a step above you, a level above, it can be amazing, especially for actually getting advice on how to do stuff. So I started doing internet marketing because I got into I started working for this company that does internet marketing training. And so just being in that environment of actually people who are doing that thing is amazing and can really change your life. I remember when I was a little bit younger, in the last couple of years, I had all these business ideas, but I never actually did them, where I would start doing these things that didn't make me any money. I would go and get the business cards made, do the Facebook fan page and stuff, which at some point you should do, but it's really not stuff that's going to make you money. And the one quote I can remember from one of the people who work in this company is focus on a profit, on things that really make you profit. Don't waste time on other stuff. You as a business owner should really be focused on things that make you actual money, that bring in cash to the business, and not other time wasting stuff. You can always outsource that to someone else. You shouldn't waste 3 days making a website when you could spend 3 days actually selling and making things that will make you money.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. And just, going back to what you said, it's funny who you'll meet, this is why I say it's really important to, just talk to everyone, introduce yourself, make them their friend, because I went to a mastermind, and that's when I met Steven, who is now my mentor, and because of me going to that mastermind, it's funny, dude, I met him in line getting food.
Oh, wow, that's amazing, that's crazy.
How funny is that, dude? I was in line with one of my homies that I took with me, and I was just talking to him. I turned around, I'm like, hey, you're Steven. And then I just introduced myself, and then we just kind of hit it off. We built that relationship, and boom, now he's become my mentor and one of my closest friends, and now he's that one person that actually did change my life. Mm-hmm. It all just started by just really going out there and just being friendly, trying to network with people. Yeah. So that's super, super, super important.
Yeah, and just being in just places where you'll actually win money. Put yourself in actual locations where you can meet these people. I'm from Costa Rica, so in Costa Rica it's hard. I remember that's also the reason I wanted to leave Costa Rica. I remember when I was 18, I moved to Europe and I traveled around the world a little bit. And the reason I really did it is because I wanted to get out of like the same, Costa Rica is so small. I knew all the people I had to know there,
Yeah.
almost like, I was always meeting the same people, like always hanging out with the same people. And most of them just weren't like really going for it and trying to achieve the things that I wanted to achieve. And so just traveling a bit, I remember when I was 18, I managed a chamber of commerce in Latvia, northeastern Europe. And it was an amazing experience. Like I traveled a lot through that and I made a lot of contacts all over the world. So, just get yourself in a place where you can meet people. Like here in Miami, it's amazing. Like I take the elevator up to our condo and it's crazy. Like I just meet like guys there who are like doing real estate, just, doing 6-7 figures a year. Young people like our age as well. So that's really amazing. So just getting yourself in those places. And, there's like this theory that you're like there are 6 degrees of separation. So between everyone in the world. So, anyone you really want to meet, you probably could meet them, especially with social media and stuff. You could like reach out to people now, get jobs like that. Even our friend Steven, he got his job, where he learned all the marketing he knows, and he's a multimillionaire, 22-year-old, 23-year-old. Yeah. So, take it for what it is. And he met his mentor by just emailing him and saying like, hey, like I want to work for you. So, just do that. Just put yourself in those positions.
Yeah, and go to, something I recommend is go to events. Go to events where everyone in the same room has the same mentality and the same goal as you. That's being successful, trying to improve yourself. Because if you're at home or you're with your friends, sometimes it's a little bit hard for everyone to have the same mentality as you, And I see that a lot of the times, like people want to start like their own businesses, but they hide it from their spouse because they're afraid of what they'll think because of the investments or the time commitment or just something that is just brand new, So they hide it from them. So they hide it from everyone at home because they're afraid they're going to be just nothing but negativity. And that's the case. They tell their spouse or someone in the family, and what do you hear? Just negativity, negativity. And that could really bring someone down. So that's why when you go to this event, put yourself in a position where you can network with people and just make contacts and being in a room of like that's something that you cannot get out of.
And even with the whole like being afraid of what people are going to think of you, like your spouse, like just friends and other people, like just you hang out with, like everyone, like people are such backstabbers. Like everyone's like trying to encourage you when they speak with you, and then they talk shit behind your back. So that's totally a thing, but you just got to be numb to it. Like I know, friends back in Costa Rica, friends. Like, my other friends who are also friends with them, they tell me like, yeah, this guy was talking shit about you. So that's totally a thing, There's really no way to avoid it. You just got to do it, Especially like doing this, like what we're doing right now, like this video, I know I'm going to upload it and a bunch of people back home are going to talk shit like, oh, like who does he think he is? And, I'm not close to, where any of these guys are. I definitely want to at some point, but, I'm just trying to share my experiences because I think I've had like a pretty interesting, couple of years since I like left school, and just hang out with people like you just gives me like that opportunity to go to the next level.
But just the fact that you're doing something that, that's something that a lot of people are not doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a lot of people may talk shit and stuff, but what are they doing?
Yeah,
Sitting down
exactly.
TV, drinking a beer, watching TV.
Exactly, 100%.
And what are we doing here? We're hustling. We're doing video, we're creating content, we're doing like a bunch of stuff that, it's going to improve our lives.
Yeah.
So no matter what kind of crap other people think, like, who gives a shit?
Yeah. And you got to think about like the big picture. Like this video, like I want to start public speaking. That's also the reason I'm doing this, because you have to make, like nowadays you have to create content if you want to be on any stage, right? So like the benefits of doing this versus whatever anyone back home thinks about it, whatever, like you just gotta ignore it. So like I wanted to ask you, and the reason I wanted to make this video is like, you already said like going to events is a good way to network with people. And do you have like any specific like businesses you can think of that people can get into, especially if they don't have a lot of money to get started?
Yeah, definitely affiliate marketing. That's definitely one way to go about that.
So can you explain that a little bit further?
Yeah, so pretty much what affiliate marketing is that you get a license to promote other people's product and you get commission from that. So there's different ways of advertising that, there's Facebook, there's, solo ads, there's banner ads, there's, any kind of social media. That's the beauty of social media nowadays. is that you can use it to like market whoever, you know. Just with social media, you do have to be really careful on who your audience is, because if you're using Snapchat, for example, then Snapchat mostly a younger audience, you know, uses Snapchat as opposed to like Instagram, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So it really depends on that. But yeah, I mean, social media is endless, you know, endless possibilities and opportunities. So you can definitely start like that. One of my biggest advice that I always tell someone is try to make friends with someone who's already successful in it. You know, because that way they can tell you what to do and what not to do. Because when I did this, I did it completely alone. You know, I didn't tell anybody for the same reason that I knew everybody was gonna, you know, talk shit about it. You know, and it's funny because my brother, he's now my business partner. He was like, "Hey Jorge, how come you didn't tell me you started this?" I was like, "You know what? Honestly, I didn't want to tell you this because I didn't want to hear negativity from anyone." And he told me, "Well, thank God you didn't tell me because I would have tried to talk you out of it." You know? He told me that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And it's crazy, right? To think about that. But yeah, really try to find someone who's good at it already, who has succeeded and has some sort of experience, and just make them your friend. You know, like I said, just send, like you could say, like send an email. You know, you never know how far an email can go.
I told this. I remember this girl in Costa Rica. I was talking to her, and she was like complaining about her job, right? And I've been lucky enough to always have like really cool jobs. Like I've never had to work at McDonald's or anything like that. I think it's great. I think it teaches you like discipline and what not to do. But thankfully, I've never had to do it. And the reason I never did it is because I would just reach out to a bunch of people, you know. I remember in Costa Rica, there's this list from the like Chamber of Commerce from Costa Rica where all the businesses are subscribed to. And you can get this list of hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands of businesses. And it has their email, their phone number, everything. And I would just send like one mass email, like with an email autoresponder. I wouldn't even like write each email, just email autoresponder. Like I sent to I think 300 different businesses or something, and like 25 replied. 25 opportunities to work with them. That easy. Like it's that easy. You know, you just have to like, you just actually have to do it. And it's so easy to like get caught up on like the depressive feeling of having a shitty job. Because people like people don't know this, but people get addicted to feeling bad. It's called like poison dripping. Like you poison drip yourself into feeling bad, and then you're like, it's just like a cycle, and you just want to stick with it. That's why when you're like not motivated and you don't actually get out of bed, you're never going to start anything. Like you have to start, even if it's just going for a run, you know. But you need to like push yourself to do stuff. So definitely, like, you know, just if you have a shitty job, just email a bunch of businesses, and some will give you money. But then again, it also comes to like you have to know something, right? So for me, it was like doing video and media work. That's what has given me most of the contacts I have. But you have to be good at something. It can be like, it doesn't have to be anything too complicated, but learn a skill. And nowadays, you can learn skills like about anything. You can learn code, like do video work, photography, whatever. It's like really whatever you want to do, just go online. There's this page called Skillshare for like $10 a month or something. You can browse like 180,000 different courses. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, anything is learnable, you know? And honestly, just, you know, if you wanted something, you can easily get it, and just learn it, you know? That goes back to you saying, like, you know, you need a skill for a job, you know? It was funny, I spoke this weekend in Las Vegas Supercharged at an event of like, you know, in front of like 200 entrepreneurs. And one of the speakers there, he said that when he was first starting out, that he wanted a job. So he got interviewed, and he kind of lied. I'm not saying a lie, but he kind of lied that he knew a skill. Yeah. You know, but he wanted this job. But you know what stood him out from the rest is that he kind of lied. He said he wanted it, but he took those like 3 weeks, because he had 3 weeks to learn it. Like he did nothing but learn it, took classes. Like he invested so much time in this, so he can learn it. So when the job came, like he kind of knew what was going on, but he didn't like know exactly. So he was, you know, convincing himself that he knew how to do it. And then during the job, you know, just learning, you know. So I mean, anything is learnable. Yeah.
Well, what's funny that you say that is that I did exactly the same thing when I started working for this internet marketing company. I had bought a drone, you know, like the drones when they were still cool, like before it was cool. So I bought it because I thought I could like take cool pictures surfing and stuff. And then I like took this picture of Solomon, our friend, and then he like I saw him a couple of months later, and he told me like, hey, like there's this guy who needs some guy to do video. Like you can do video, right? And I was like, yeah, sure, of course, I can fly a drone, I can do video, I can edit videos. So like 3 days later, I had the job interview. So I was like, holy crap, like what do I do now? So I just went on YouTube and I watched like for 2 days straight just tutorials on how to edit. I like torrented the editing software because I couldn't afford it at the time. So I just like torrented it, and then I went and I freaking got the job, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's just how bad you want it. You know, same thing with me when I spoke on stage. They asked me, have you ever spoken on stage before? I was like, for me, I used to be the nervous. Like, I hated talking in front of people, like, at all times. Like, I used to ditch class just to not do a presentation in front of class. So I saw this opportunity, and for me, I was like, all right, I have to get out of my comfort zone, and I have to do this. So as I was chatting with the person in charge, he asked me, have you ever done any public speaking? And I kind of hesitated, but I was like, yeah, I've done a couple. Never done them before, right? And
I had done a couple back in school.
Not even, because I used to skip class to avoid doing those. But yeah, so I said yeah, and then I kid you not, the next day or that same day, I just bought like 7 public speaking books and like a couple courses. And that's all I did. I had a week before I went to go present in front of people. And that's all I did. I just read, study, watch videos on how people speak and all that stuff. So when I did that, went up on stage, I wasn't nervous, which I was shocked. I think I was more nervous the fact that I wasn't nervous. You know?
You were nervous?
I weren't. I
wasn't. Yeah, I know.
Like, I wasn't. And then and then I went up there and I was getting a lot of good feedback, you know. And I didn't think I thought I did okay. I didn't think I did like good or great, but I got a lot of good feedback and people were like, hey, you've done this before, right? I was like, no.
Yeah.
Like, no, I've never done
Maybe.
this before. But yeah, this is just crazy. You know, if you really want something, you know, go for it. I mean, it's anybody can obtain it. You know, it's just really up to you. You know, this is where they distinguish the lazy people with those people who really want it. You know, those people who are on top right now versus those people who are still complaining, bitching, and moaning about their lives. Yeah,
and well, part of the thing I felt, because I felt the same when I've spoken, not on big stages or anything, but just like at events where I have to like move people around and organize people. Just I feel like you know your stuff, right? So I remember in school I would never study for the presentations. I just like design the PowerPoint presentation, but I wouldn't actually read the material. So I would always get like super nervous. But I feel like when you know your stuff, it's much easier to get on stage. But let's go back to the different business people can start. So affiliate marketing is one. Then another one I can think of is drop shipping, which is great. You can start almost zero investment. Again, none of these businesses are really zero investment. That's something that I feel we have to clarify too.
I don't think there's any businesses with zero investment.
Me neither.
If there wasn't, then it's either a scam or doesn't work. You know,
it's you have to do something. Yeah. But even like if you do like things like ClickBank, where you don't actually have to like buy into any program, you can just promote it. You still need money for ads, right? You still need that. So unless you're doing like person-to-person selling, which isn't scalable because you can only talk to so many people per day, you're always going to have to invest a little bit, whether it's online for like spending money on ads or buying into a program. Or education, or when you're doing online marketing, you need websites. You need you have to pay for that. It's not a lot, and once you start making a little bit of money, you can reinvest that money into more advertising. But if you're 100% broke and you're complaining that you can't start a business, go get a job and don't spend your money on dumb shit.
Yeah.
Save your money. Like save up $1,000, $2,000. It's not a lot of money. Like
stop going out. Eating and drinking, and that will save you a ton of money.
Crazy. Crazy. I remember I went sober, like I became sober like 2 years ago now, and holy shit, I would spend so much money on alcohol. It's crazy, dude.
Insane, right?
It's insane. I'd spend like, 2 quarters or a half or a quarter of my money that I made, or that my mom gave me at the time, because then I was like living with my mom, not making any money.
Exactly, and then when you already had a couple beers on you, you're like, hey,
let's spend more and more and more.
So
stupid.
Me, just spending money like that is just stupid. So really, that's one way to save. Actually, is one way that you can start a business with like little money, because obviously you do need money. I was actually networking with someone, and he was starting his own business. But pretty much what he did was he would go to like to the dollar store, and he would pick up like a bunch. Like he did his research though, but he would pick up a bunch of stuff that he knew that sold for $3-4 on Amazon, and that's what he did. Just go to the dollar store, buy
put it
big
on
packs,
Amazon,
and put it in Amazon.
You don't have to pay any money to get on Amazon.
I think there's like a membership fee that you do have.
So again, there's always like a small investment. It's not a lot, but like, would you say that? Okay, so he was basically flipping things from the dollar store, right?
From the dollar store to Amazon, yeah.
Yeah, but still, you have to buy this stuff from the dollar store.
You have to buy the stuff from the dollar store. There's gas money to go in.
Exactly.
So
you always need like a little bit, like you need a little bit of money to get started. And what I would say is actually save up a little money before you get started, because then your business might be working and you don't have any money to, like, let's say for that, buy inventory, and then you're like, then you're screwed.
And even keep your current job until you
100%,
see that your business is up and running, and until after you scale it up, keep your job. Because one thing that I see is people they start a business, but they haven't seen a profitable business, so they quit their job right there, right then. So they run out of advertising money, So that's a huge mistake.
And also, like, if you're working 8 hours a day, like there's 24 hours in a day, like you can spend another 2 hours instead of watching TV or Netflix, start working on a side hustle. And but I feel like keeping your job until your business is like actually running, and that's a business you want to do, because I've started like a bunch of like small like businesses, and then after like a minute I was like, what am I doing? Like this sucks, So definitely like and again, if you don't have any money like at all, get a job.
Exactly.
That's one thing with my friends in Costa Rica. I love them to death. Like they're really cool, but most of them are studying in school, right? So So they're studying and they're still living with their parents, and their parents are giving them money, but then they're complaining that they want to like start a business, but they don't have the money to do it. So I mean, school money. And I guess you could just wait. You could just finish school. I mean, it's like so cool to say that you dropped out. I dropped out. You dropped out too. Or did you finish?
I got my bachelor's degree, but I did drop out of nursing school.
Okay, so it's like you kind of have to make a decision, but if you want to take it safe, just finish school. The thing is, like in Costa Rica, school is free. You don't have to pay for it. And the University of Costa Rica is like one of the best universities, top like 200 I think in the world, which in the whole world it's not bad. But here you have to pay for school, in America, which is like, and it's so expensive too. So if you're here in the States, I mean, I'd say if you really know you want to do a bit like start your business, then I'd say quit, because just the money you're spending on school, like it's, if you took that money and invested it into your actual business, the ROI would be like so much more, for sure, right? But I mean, that's, everyone has to decide that. You have to know how much you want to risk it. But then again, like if you're in school and you drop out, you can always come back in, right?
Yeah, that's true. You can always come back into school.
Like
There's nothing wrong with that. You'll probably have to retake those classes, but other than that, you're good.
Yeah, whatever. Like, probably not even all classes, just ones you dropped out of, right? Or something.
Just those that you dropped out.
I mean, it's really, it's not rocket science. That's the one thing too. That's the one funny thing that I heard one day, and it's like, it's not rocket science. Like starting a business, like you're not Elon Musk building rockets, that land, again, like that just come from space and magically open their feet and they land. Like we're not doing that. You're just selling stuff to people. It's not that hard. And so that business sounds good, like flipping this stuff from the dollar store, especially if you're doing Amazon, because on Amazon you don't have to pay ads, right? Yeah. You can pay like Amazon ads, but you don't have to.
You don't have to,
Yeah, so that's good. And then like the other one is drop shipping, which is a great business. Like anything e-commerce is good, but again, for drop shipping, everywhere online they say you can start a business with zero investment, but if you don't have ads, then you kind of need you need some money to get started. But that's a good business you can start. Definitely now, one tip I would give people who want to do e-commerce is using influencer marketing. So like, those big Instagram accounts, like using those instead of like going straight for Facebook ads. Because I've taken some courses too, and I'm doing e-commerce myself. And I've seen great results from that. So that's a good way to get started. And then the other one, which I want to get your opinion on, is a wholesale real estate. You know what that is? Yeah. So I met a friend here, Brandon. What's up? He does a real estate marketing, a real estate, a wholesale real estate, and he does really good for himself. And when I was talking to him, he told me it's zero investment too, basically almost, because what you're doing is you're getting these properties on contract, and then you're selling that contract to someone else who wants to buy it, and you could start like making, 10, 15K a month easy from doing that if you put the time into it. And there's just basically getting leads.
But that's time. Time is also an investment.
100%. Yeah, that's true. That's true. You have to value your time. But then again, you have to, if you're comfortable enough of knowing that you can do good in business, it's like, is it worth like spending more time on that? You have to figure that out. All right, so one of our cameras just ran out of battery and the microphone is connected to that. So we'll keep going on this one. So, so can you think of any other, ways people can start making money like on the side?
So one of the ways that I know, and I actually got this from Gary Vaynerchuk, is that you can wake up early, like 5, 6 o'clock every Saturday and Sunday, and go to yard sales. Mm-hmm. And just start buying stuff that that are really cheap, that look nice, because people can buy that off of Craigslist or eBay. Like I went one time to a yard sale and I saw a nice drawer, really really nice drawer. No cracks, no scratches, like really nice, like it looked brand new. And I was looking for one, so I asked the guy how much it was, expecting it to be like at least $80, and it was like $10. I can easily sell that for at least $50.
Yeah.
So that's something that you can definitely start. Yes, of course you can grow that, but that's something that you can start on the side to get more money, because eventually if you want to start a bigger business, you are going to need a bigger budget. But this is one of the best a great way to start making money, your side hustle, your little side business.
Start flipping stuff.
Yeah.
And like I here in the States, like the salaries, like people just make more money at their jobs than in Costa Rica. But dude, like in Costa Rica, the average person makes like $800 a month or something like that.
Wow.
Like $900. Like a professional, like someone who has got their bachelor's degree in whatever, makes like $1,200 per month.
Wow.
Which, like, do you actually value your time like that? And it's like people are proud of it, which is cool. I mean, be proud of wherever you're at. But do you really $1,200? How much is that per hour?
Yeah.
Like that's $40 a day. So really, you have to sit down and know like how much you value your time, and I feel like that's the starting point for anything. I feel like you should like really like take some time, take a morning, sit down, and and think like, do I really want to, give someone else my time for $40 per day?
Exactly.
$40 per day, that's like nothing per hour, my math sucks. So I feel that's a good starting point, and that's really something that motivated me when I was starting out, like, finding like better opportunities and just trying to do more stuff. It's just like, like how much, like I had a job, I was making like $1,500 a month, like 3 years ago or 4 years ago. And after a while, I was just like, what can I do with this? Like, I can't even save any money.
Exactly.
And live a nice life. Like, also have fun. And I read this book by Tim Ferriss, The 4-Hour Work Week. Have you read it?
I haven't, but that's in my to-do list.
It's a great book. And the one thing he talks about that's really interesting to me is he talks about the new rich, and he talks about these people who they don't make like a lot of money. I mean, they do, but they don't make like a lot of money compared to like other millionaires, whatever. But they have all this time because they're not sitting in an office. If you have a hedge fund or something, you're probably making a lot of money. Yeah. But how much time are you putting into it? So, like if you're just working 2 hours a day and making $1,000 per month, you might be making more than a guy who's working 8 hours a day, but making $1,500. Yeah. So. Break it down to a certain amount of time, to like an hourly cost, and then just really find out what each hour of your time, each minute, each second of your time is worth, and then take action. Because for me, like a couple of years ago, my dream was to get rich and make a lot of money, right? I mean, I'd still like to get there someday. It'd be cool for sure. But then I discovered surfing, and surfing is like my passion, that's the thing I love to do. So I'm just trying to learn ways where I can, make as much money as possible while still being able to do the things I actually love.
Yeah, and that's exactly what my brother's doing. That's exactly what my brother's doing. He came up to me. He was like, "Hey, I really want to know what you're doing. I want to do what you're doing because you're making a lot of money." And he loves what he does. Like he's studying chemistry right now, and he wants to study. He wants to be a chemist. That's like his passion, but he doesn't want that lifestyle. He wants a different lifestyle where he can help out his family, buy whatever he wants, be financially free. So that's why, he came up to me and like, hey, I want to do partnership with you, and that's something that's really important, really find something that makes you happy, and find a passion to that, it's just not about making money, like what's the point of having a bunch of money if you're not going to do shit with it,
100%.
It's like, what's the point of that? That's why for me, it's like a lot of my money goes to, my parents, or for me, I have a huge heart when it comes to dogs, animals. So I give like a $200 monthly donation to one of my favorite organizations for pet rescues. So just find something that makes you happy. It's like a lot of people say, just don't go to the money. Like if you want to help, if you find something that you love, and you work, at it and find different strategies to make something work, then money starts coming into you.
Yeah, and that's the last thing I want to talk to you about, because that's something that's been on my mind for a while. Like I have friends also, right, back home, and a lot of them, they say like, yeah, like I want to become a veterinarian, or I want to become like whatever, right? But then on the other hand, they want to make a lot of money, right? So they have like these two things they want to make, and it's like, how much money can you make? Like even what's like one of the most esteemed occupations? Probably like doctor or something like that, right? So a doctor, there's again the whole thing with making a lot of money is you got to take your time out of the equation. Mm-hmm. If you're a doctor, you're still operating patients and doing whatever you're doing.
Crazy hours, like 60, 80 hours a week.
Yeah, crazy hours, and you can only make as much as as the time you're working allows you to, right? So, this is something that I've always wanted to express to people who have these two ideas, like, commit to something, commit to something, will you? Like, if you want, like, if your passion is your job, I think that's great, but I also feel like your job shouldn't define who you are. And I feel a lot of people get in this trap, I see it like online, on people's Instagram profiles and stuff. It's like their name, whatever, engineer. Or whatever, which is cool. I mean, it's fine if you really like it, but don't be fooled into thinking you actually like your job or your profession just because you're doing it. Like maybe you're not. So really think about those things and then take the actions to like live the lifestyle you actually want to live. If what you want is like to be you want to help people like with their diseases or to make people feel better, then you can also make a lot of money and then start a nonprofit organization and go help people in Africa. Like there's so many things. Like my friend does this. He wanted to become a veterinarian, and then he totally rethought his life. And I was like, yeah, I want to help animals, but I want to help a lot of them, not just one at a time. So he went out, he built a really big business, and now he has like a nonprofit organization, and he like rescues and like provides for animals like all over Nicaragua and Costa Rica. So it's really cool, so don't be fooled into thinking that whatever you love to do has to be your job. You can also learn ways to make a lot of money and then actually go and do that thing and help as much people as you can.
Exactly.
So yeah, so thanks for this. Has been great.
Yeah, no problem at all, man.
First video. I hope to make more of these. You guys can subscribe to this channel if you want more content like this. Follow me on Instagram. It's Life of Nits. I'll just put it down here. And Jorge, if people want to find out about you, where should they go?
You can find me on Instagram. It's Jorge Mateo 10.
So right here. And yeah, anything else you want to say to people before we leave?
Yeah, one thing that I do like to say to everyone every time I finish speaking on stage is that just go out there and get out of your comfort zone, man. Yeah. That's something really important, and I always emphasize this because I was a victim of that. I was a victim of me not getting out of my comfort zone, just staying where I'm at. And it did stop me from doing a lot of things when I'm growing up, you know? It wasn't until I actually started, you know, doing that really got me out of my comfort zone and really started seeing success on it, you know? Yeah. So it's something that I strongly recommend. And I know it's not easy for everyone. I mean, for me, I used to have a hard time just raising my hand in class. Yeah. That's how bad it was. You know, so just start baby steps, and eventually you'll do stuff that you never imagined yourself doing, you know. Bam, you're going to be living in a penthouse in Miami, you know. It's crazy.
It's crazy, dude. It's crazy. Yeah, and, you know, we're doing the same now, basically. We're making videos. Like, it's my first video. You know, we're getting this. We're not comfortable with this, but we're doing it. It's fun, too. I mean, it's fun, right? Yeah. So, yeah. So, guys, thanks for watching this video. I hope you watched through the whole thing, and I hope to see you in the next one. Have a good one.
Bye.
Ciao.